Hey, this is Charlie, and today I want to talk about the Shaw lens. We have two eyes. You probably have two eyes. If you're watching this, you probably have two eyes. If you don't have two eyes, this probably is not as important to you. Now, we have two eyes, and one of the challenges is in life is that those two eyes are designed and intended to work together as one team. And depending on how the eyes develop individually, it's possible that those eyes can develop individually in different ways. So, so just to give you an example of that, um, so your eyes could develop differently in prescription. So, this is a lens. And if you notice, this lens makes me blurry. It also makes me bigger. So if you look at that, you can see that my face, when I'm through the lens, is bigger than my face not through the lens. If we compare that to my glasses, you can see that my glasses make me smaller. So that is an effect of something called magnification. And every lens in the world, regardless of focal length, potentially also has an element of magnification. Now, let's talk about in the context of you have two eyes. Say one eye is much different refractively than the other eye. So say that one eye is a -2, and one eye is a -3, or one eye is a +2, and one eye is a +3. So you have these two separate eyes, and each eye has its own refraction. So now when you get glasses, the one image is slightly larger than the other image. And how does your eye deal with that? Your eye can deal with that a couple different ways, but ultimately what's happening is in the back of your brain, your brain is fed two different sizes of image and tries to stitch them together. Now, let's talk about another thing that happens. This is so if you see when I look through the lens, when I move just the lens, my face moves too. And if I take this lens and I move the lens, see how the face moves a little bit? So the lens is the same power throughout, but when you're looking through it, the image moves depending on where in the lens you're looking through. Now, this is a thing called anisometropia. Um, so anisometropia is the difference in the image tracking from one eye to the other. So if we look at this point and we have two different power lenses, one image might move at that rate, the other image might move at that rate. And that, as your eyes move, you're constantly dealing with two different moving images that need to be stitched together in the brain. As you can imagine, if you're constantly feeding your brain mismatched images and your brain is trying to stitch them together, that can drain your battery really quick. And that's what the Shaw lens is all about. The Shaw lens is about that with optics, with science, we can calculate the effect of how much the lens is going to create that movement and that imbalance. And then using different manufacturing methods, we can offset that problem. And that's really the Shaw lens in a nutshell, is when you have two different lenses and you want them to work together as a team, the Shaw lens factors the properties of both lenses and and then we manufacture it in a way that it balances so that when you look to the left, you're seeing one image. When you look to the right, you're seeing one image. When you look to the straight ahead, you're seeing one image. And your brain has a much easier time stitching those images together, which increases your battery life. Now, who's that recommended for? So if your eyes are the same, so if your eyes are identical, if you have a -150 in this eye and a -150 in this eye, there really shouldn't be a problem, because when you think about it, when your eyes move together, your images will move together as well. But when you have the difference, that's where the Shaw lens and the manufacturing parameters that we create as a result of the Shaw lens can really help stitch those images together better. Why isn't this normal? Like why aren't we doing this for everybody? Like why isn't it a common practice that for glasses we stitch the images together? Um, that's a great question, and it all goes back to the way that it's always been done. So, for years, the goal of glasses was not binocular vision. The goal was, hey, I can't read and I need to read, so we get you a pair of glasses. And over time, we've realized that glasses can have a heavy influence on everything. And over time, lenses have developed to support that. But most of the time, when a lens was developed, it was developed as if we're Cyclops. So every lens was individually optimized for all of the properties, but at no point was the consideration given that you have two eyes, and those two eyes are intended to work together. So the Shaw lens has been around for a while now, but it's kind of a new concept. The idea of making your two eyes work together. Um, it's surprisingly a new concept. So you would think that since the beginning would be like, hey, we have two eyes, let's have them work together. Um, but believe it or not, that's kind of a revolutionary idea. Is that you have two eyes and that we can optimize them together rather than optimizing them separately. And that's what the Shaw lens is all about. Thanks.